Hello everybody! Today we're doing a little bit on what I call pre-notation. And this is kind of the idea of what we're trying to do when we find notes. When people say it's a C, E, G, or someone says it's a mi, fa, mi, or a 3, 10, 7, 2. Or just nah, 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 nah. In a way, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to find words and letters and expressions to kind of explain what I like to call the world of the real and the underworld. As we see over here, kind of when we're trying to play music, regardless of the actual notes that we're playing, when we start listening to the notes, like when we start listening to this music in our head, this kind of goes away. And all you're left with is a whole bunch of relative stuff that when you're listening to, you need to learn how to, like, work around it a little bit. And I always say it starts off at the octave and then kind of work your way back. Works the best. And in a way, we got this do, key of C kind of thing going on here. And as we start kind of taking steps of, 1 step away, 2 steps away, 3 steps away, we're starting to, like, curve back into the octave. And although the sound itself, the frequency will go da 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 da, and that's this kind of reasoning and this kind of reasoning, but when you're trying to figure out the relative notes, it helps to just oversimplify it down to this idea, and then work your way to something that can be communicatable. It's a lot easier to break down just gauges in your head than numbers and letters and all this other kind of stuff. So the one thing that I find is the most helpful, and this is why I always say start from the octave and work your way back, is the best way to start practicing relative tones is just messing around and trying to hit octaves. These are kind of like the hardest, biggest thing that you need to kind of tackle, but it's also the simplest thing to start because you got the note that you started off with. You know how that one sounds. So we'll go ba, and now we have to find an octave above that. Ba, whatever we end up at, it has to sound like ba. Okay, here we go. Ba, oh, there we are. Okay, then we're gonna go back down, then we're gonna go back up, then we're gonna go back down, and then we're gonna go back up, then we're gonna go back down, and we're gonna go even, oh, wow, can we? I don't know. Ba, da, 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 da. That's the best I can do, sorry. Whoa, there we go. Oh, wow, no, that's a different note. No, I'm right. I can't even get that low. And right there, we can already start finding within, just in my own little mess-ups over here of what I'm trying to do is I'm not necessarily trying to get the notes. I'm trying to see if I can understand the notes. So we'll start off over here. Get used to hanging around here. Oh, we're taking a little step. We're trying to get used to hanging around in this area and using almost like this as like a marker for ourselves in our own little brain. It takes a little bit of practice, and I always feel silly at the first, but as soon as I figure out what key it is, I actually will do that. I'll be like, okay, so I know that I don't know exactly what the notes are, but I will say it sounds okay, and then everything from there is just gonna be moving in this generalized direction from I can't get there. And then from there, I would start messing around with these kind of things that I could speak with myself with. Of like, okay, so what was this? And then I know it would be a 1. I would practice the same kind of little thing and say that 1, 2, 1, do, re, do, si, d, si. Actually, wait, no, I think that's a E and or it's either an E or an F. That we're kind of sitting at right now. But as you can see, like, I'm still trying to keep this note in my head as we're going along. I don't have perfect pitch, but I have good audiation and good memory to kind of remind myself this is where I'm mucking up. And the reason why, like, you'll see this right here is just the accidentals. And right here, this big guy right here is called the tritone. Which, a little historical lesson, people really did not want people learning, singing, working this stuff. You hear it all the time in the music, but it was more like a philosophical kind of faux pas than an actual musical faux pas. Churches are weird like that. But how this works is instead of this being do, and your whole underworld, your accidental do, is this tritone. And then kind of the same principles and the same rationalities kind of flow out over there. If people ask school, why is the pentatonic scale just like the which is just 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 5, 6. Pentatonic scale would be do, mi, so, la, so, mi, do. And you'll hear those kind of little spaces all the time. It's really nice spaces to work with. And these are the exact same spaces as how these work, fit in between our regular notes. It's our accidentals are literally just a pentatonic scale in the worst place possible. But if you take this pattern and you bring it down here, it sounds really nice. And if you kind of start to take this pattern and you start bringing it over here, that sounds really nice too. But that's kind of where musical alchemy starts really kind of coming into play, I guess, is like how these two little fit together. But I guess I want to finish off a little generic little look at all the notations that we've looked at. And what we're really trying to do here is just kind of find these points, and then find names for them. And next lesson, we're going to see how all this kind of stuff pulls together to what I call the linear or the Luciferian gauge. Alright, take care, people. Thanks for watching. Later.